Hello, hello, hello. Gonna wait for FaceTime to send out those notifications. Oof, look at that. That's what you don't do. Is you don't go for a walk before you go before you do a Bible study. We want FaceTime to send out those notifications so that folks can join us. We want them to join us. I'll start off the Bible study with a little bit of a public service announcement. A public service announcement. I want you all to take a little time. And the last couple of times, hi Linda, good to see you. The last couple of days, I've given you giving stuff, but this time, I think we just need to take a little public service announcement. And the public service announcement is that I want you to sort of take this in, just sort of think this through. In COVID-19 land, where we're all living, everybody's a little on edge. Not everybody's got their A game. And since not everybody has their A game in COVID-19 land, in Coronaville, it would be good for us to sort of give everybody a little bit of slack. Before you go off on somebody, before you throw the remote, before you do whatever it is that you're going to do to show your rage, you might consider just stepping back and understanding that everybody's life, whether they feel it or not, has been really disrupted by this. And so they're not having their A game. So you might want to just cut them a little slack, overcome evil with good before you write the 16-page single-spaced letter. I don't know what Tim Rake just said, but yeah, we want to just sort of we want to give grace. So you pay back curses with blessings, evil with good, unbelief with Jesus. Hey, buddy, you sleeping? You want this? Right off his coconut. I'll tell you, we went for a little walk. The little puppy and I, right beforehand. Hi, Ann. Good to see you. We went for a little walk, and the dog is, so he's a little pooped. He's a little pooped. So if he seems a little tired to you, that's what's going on. Missed. There he goes. Always got enough energy to go after a treat that's strayed. Now, we were in the midst of Jesus answering his own prayer. All right? And we stopped with verse 15. And so that's where we'll start today. God can do it without your help. Exactly. Thanks, Devin. So let's start and take a look at, we're going to begin with 10:16. And so let's write 10:16 down. So that's where we're starting. If you are, is where we're beginning. I wish you guys could see this because, like, he is just, I'll post it. He is so out of this for you guys that he doesn't even want to be on the screen. He is literally lying right there. And I'll post that to Instagram later on. He's done. He's not going to even be visible for you guys. He's done. And so, yeah, that's my little buddy Thor. He's done. So I'm sending you out in the midst as sheep amidst wolves. As sheep amidst wolves. This is true of you today. This is true of you, of them. Good morning, Brian. This is true of them in Jesus's day. The apostles first, then you. I'm sending you out as sheep amongst wolves. Does it allow pictures to be posted in Facebook Live? I don't think it does. So if I don't leave sometimes, how will y'all miss me? Exactly. That's the way the dog feels. His back is turned to me, and he is just not participating today in the Bible study. So you all who are, I'm gonna post it. And he comes back. So yeah, and he's back. All right. Behold, I'm sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. Verse 16. Behold, I am apostling you as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be as wise as serpents and as pure and innocent as doves. So what you might want to do, Pat, Felicity, and Terry Lynn, and Ruth, what you might want to do here is sort of take this in for a second. It's okay to be crafty. That the serpent was more crafty than all the other beasts in the field was not a negative. Crafty is not a bad thing. Jacob is sneaky. Crafty isn't a bad thing. It wasn't until the serpent did bad things that the serpent was bad. Okay? It wasn't until the serpent did bad things that the serpent was bad. When the serpent did bad things, then the serpent was bad. When the serpent didn't do bad things, then the serpent wasn't bad. So wait, can you see him? There's the puppy when he wanted nothing to do with you all. That's what he did. And here we are back again. So I don't want you to think that. So here it's okay to be sharp and clever. It's okay to overcome the world with the world's stuff. With the world's game. It's okay to outchess the world. So be as wise as a serpent, but be as gentle and innocent as a dove. And this is a very, very important verse in 17 that everybody should be aware of. Beware of men. This is important. You need to beware of men. John's gospel. Yeah, he doesn't care. John's gospel says that Jesus did not entrust himself to men. Oh, Ruth Schulenkamp. How's Pastor Schulenkamp doing, Ruth? I hope he's doing well. Good catch, buddy. Now we're starting to wake up. He was done. Elvis left the building, but he decided he wanted to stick around. Besides, my jacket provides a nice tent. Don't put your trust in princes, says the Proverbs. Here's the thing. Whenever you read a clever saying of Jesus, it's probably in the Proverbs. It's probably in the Proverbs. I mean, the stuff that they were like, ooh, that was innovative, is probably in the Proverbs. This is in the Proverbs. Don't put your trust in princes. Don't put your trust in men. Watch out for men. Watch out for men. Jesus won't entrust himself to men because he knows what is going on in man. So don't put your trust in men. verse 17. This little thing right here is a thing that's added later, but it's a comma. It's a sort of a it's a comma. The thing for you to think about with this is this: don't put your trust in men. Beware of men. That is its own thought. It's not sort of lessened by the things which follow. The things which follow is reasons for you to beware of men. And pastors need to know this too. The people who sing your praises, we all learned that the people who sing their praises in one breath, or the people who string them up in the next. The people who are the most supportive of them in their first year, or sometimes the people who want to kill them the most a year later. And so we were taught that the guys that meet you and are like the most excited for you to be there are the people who are most likely going to be the ones that try to kill you in the end. Hi, Gail. The Lord be with you. If you haven't gotten a chance to the gift of Gail Broyles, she is a person who always is joyful, always brings joy to everyone that she's around, and so she's a gift. Good to have you here. Behold, I am sending you as sheep in the midst of wolves. And what does that mean? So you're going to be surrounded by people who want to kill you and eat you. That's the thing to remember. A lot of times we think that we think of we think that we love Jesus, and so it's going to be good for us. We make a decision for Christ, and so the world's going to work out for us. The world's actually going to hate you. Here, this is very important. Let's see if I can paste it in the, I don't know if it actually sent. Oh, yes, it did. Ton anthropon is of men plural. And so it's all men. Beware of all men. Beware of men in the plural. Okay? And you're going out as sheep in the midst of wolves. And so the apostles are sheep. So all apostles are sheep, but not all sheep are apostles. That's the thing to remember. It's okay to be a sheep. Not everybody has to be an apostle. But this, first and foremost, is them. You're going in the midst of people who want to devour you. And in that, be wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. So you're going to be surrounded by those who want to kill you. I call that voters' meetings. You'll be surrounded by those who want to kill you. And it doesn't say, roll over and let them. He says that in the Sermon on the Mount. Here he says, be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. So your pastor should be as sharp as a tack, but as innocent as a lamb. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to the courts. They will paradosusin. They will hand you over. They will betray you into the Sanhedrin, into the courts, and in the synagogues they'll flog you. They'll mastigate you. They'll whip you to near death. And you will be led before governors. That's like brought, led. And when you're led by force, that is, that's dragged. You'll be dragged before governors and kings. Ted Rosenblatt in the house. You'll be dragged before governors and kings. And so, like, when you're led and it's a passive, it's drug, to witness to them and to the Gentiles. Don't forget to get your HT merchandise. Immanuel members, this is why we're able to have this study together, because they're paying for the internet space. Donald, so you can get people to come to voters' meetings? Sure, Donald, all you got to do is be a faithful pastor. They'll come to string you up. I kid, I joke. All right. My parish loves me. Most of them. You will be dragged before governors and kings, and for my sake to be a witness, bear witness. Now, I want you to take note of this word for witness. Where is it? There it is. All right, so martyrion. If I were to spell it for you, it would be M-A-R-T-Y as martyr. I'm going to copy it and you see, someone's here. He's on patrol. So this word witness it means something else other than witness. It has come to be something else. It means martyr. We're going to get to that, Tim. His question is, Pastor Rake's question is, so why are the apostles being dragged before the authorities, and of what are they witnesses to? So we, Gail, always positive. That's why we come to voters meetings, because we love Pastor Borghardt. That's great. All kidding aside, he's telling them of something, and Ray can help me with this. He's telling them of something that isn't going to happen to them on their vicarage. Because that's what this is. He sends them, the 12, to do their things. This is their vicarage. The sending is going to be at the end of Matthew. The sending thing is going to be at the end of Matthew. Then he's going to send them, and then this will come true. But are they going to run? Are they going to be dragged before governors and kings at this point? No. Is it going to happen? Yes. And that's where Rake's question really has its answer. Why will you be dragged before kings and governors in the books of Acts? Because of Jesus. What will you bear witness to? You'll bear witness to the death and resurrection of the Son of God. And you will give up your life for that fact. Because of the death and the resurrection of the Son of God, you will be dragged before governors and kings. And this is important. This is very, very important. Sandra's not a big fan of the text box, because it makes me, this small. But this is important. I want you to look me in the eyes on this one. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. You will suffer for his name. And they suffered for his name, but not a single apostle. And the rock means not one apostle. Not one of them said this sentence. Before you draw and quarter me, before you slice me into bits, before you crucify me upside down, before you cut off my head, before you drag me through the streets of the town, not one of them, not one of the apostles said, let me show you where the body is. Let me take you to where we have him. We can just bring this cult to a close right now because he's not alive. He's really dead. Not a single one of them did that. Not a one. When I start to wonder, when the natives are restless, when they're knocking on my door, when they're writing the 4-page letters about how I shouldn't be a pastor, the thing which comforts me is the witness of the apostles. Not a one of them denied the faith. And we know they're all capable of denying the faith. They all scatter. And Peter calls down curses on a little girl to avoid what he believed was an impending judgment. The same guys that locked themselves in the upper room on this Sunday's gospel, Quasimodo Ginnity, are the same guys that are willing to die for their faith because they feared the one who could throw them into hell more than they feared the one who could just kill the body. So these words that he's giving them, these vicarage instructions, are not going to happen now. They're going to happen later. They're not ready for these things to happen now. No pastor is. When we go on vicarage in our first year of the ministry, it's all fun and games, potlucks, and 30 pounds. I just love you, vicar. After a couple of years, then they come knocking on the door because of the witness of the gospel. Why do you talk about baptism so much? Why do you talk about the forgiveness of sins so much? Why do you say everything goes down to Jesus? What about me? They will deliver you over. I'm sorry. First, you're going to bear witness to the kings. They're going to bear witness to the freshman 30, Felicity. You think the freshman 30 is only about you going to college, but the freshman 30 is the first year of the ministry 30 as, oh, let's take you out to dinner, pastor. You have to try this. I'm just starting to lose the weight that the folks at Immanuel put on me. Oh, and it was so good putting it on. It's been fun taking it off too. I want you to take note of this. This is not if you are persecuted, if you are handed over. This word right here, take a look at it. This word right here, hotan, means when. Well, and for a gym rat like you, it's 15. For the rest of us, it was 30 or it was 20 or 30. Hutan, that means when. It's not if they persecute Pastor Rake, it's when they hand him over. When they deliver you. Not if they deliver you. When they deliver you. When they deliver you. When they deliver you. You get it now? It's going to happen. If it's going to happen to pastor, it's going to happen to you. When they mock you, when they think that, when they think that, when they mock you, when they think of you as stupid, when you go to a college class and they say, I thought you were smarter than that. All you idiots that believe that God created the heavens and the earth. When that happens, not if that happens, when that happens. When that happens. don't merimenao. Don't worry about what you'll say. About what you'll speak. For what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. Look, I'm not that sharp of a person. I'm a Southern boy, born and raised. I mess the pronunciation of words up. It's the freshman 15, not the freshman 30, but you know what I'm saying. And so the words that I speak at the right time, when I'm underneath the lamps, they have ways of making you talk. When the crowd comes with pitchforks, they are not my words. They're not my words. I may have an idea of what I want to say, but they're not my words. Those words are given to you, and you need not try to come up with what you need to say when the person says to you, I thought you were smarter than that you believe that God created the heavens and the earth. The words will be given to you. For what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. Pastor Rake, yes, amen, but what is so outrageous, offensive, and scandalous about the preaching the kingdom, exorcising demons, and healing the sick? What about those things would engender such hostility and persecution of church and state? He knows the answer to this. We believe that salvation and faith and life all depend upon a dead, naked Jew hanging on a tree in the year of our Lord 33 AD. We believe that God loves sinners because of that dead, naked Jew hanging on a tree in 33 AD. We believe that God is saving prostitutes and sinners and murderers and child molesters ahead of holy people, because of that guy who died on 33 AD. Because the same guy who died 33 AD is the guy who rose again for you, for me, for all. The world is okay with a religion of law. All right? The world is okay with the religion of law. The world is okay with any God. Any God. Except when you start talking about the suffering and death of Jesus. And then all of a sudden, the world is like, yeah, no. What gets Jesus crucified is that the Christ, God, the Lord, Yahweh, can't be this guy. Can't be this guy. It cannot be this guy. Any God but him. We'll take Caesar over him. But to us being saved, to those who believe in these words, he gives the power, the right to become children of God, children born not of the human will, not of the flesh, but born of God. On the plane, wearing one of this. Back when I used to wear this on planes, now I don't anymore, probably because of this. No, I think, anyway, I still do. The person sitting next to me strikes up a conversation, businessman strikes up a conversation with me, finds out that I'm a Missouri Synod Lutheran. He goes, oh my gosh, you seem so intelligent. I can't believe that you're one of those Lutherans who believe that God created the heavens and the earth. And without hesitation, I responded, I can't believe you, being an intelligent person, believe that we came from primordial goo struck by lightning, or from materials from Mars which had microbes on them. You seem much smarter than that. And we had a great laugh. Another person on the plane. Well, you know, Pastor, we all have the same God. You believe that Jesus died and rose again for you? Well, no, you know, God. Yes, Jesus. Well, not that God. You know God. No, I don't know any other God other than the one in the arms of the Virgin, on the cross, and on the altar. That's the issue. Is this Jesus God? Do you use the word radical? Again, Tim Rake, we're going to ban you from using the term radical. That's going to get you in trouble. Very, very, very bad, Jerry. Very, 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 very bad. Let's continue. When they deliver you over, don't worry. Don't fret about it. Don't worry about what you're going to say or how you're going to say it. What you will say will be given to you. Passive. Will be given to you. Passive. In the passive, it'll be gift to you. For it is not you who are speaking. Gar umen esti ha laloluntes. But the Spirit of the Father. Your Father. Speaking through you. Brother will deliver brother over to death. The father his child. The children will raise up against their parents and put them to death. And you will be hated for my name's sake. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. It says the same thing in Revelation. I did not come to bring peace, but the sword. The idea that we're all going to sit around, and this is somehow Christian, and sing Kumbaya is alien. Because Kumbaya stops at the Jesus Christ crucified for you point. When you say God is for sinners because of the suffering and death of Jesus, Kumbaya stops. God is for good people. God is for those who get their lives together. No, God is for those. Oh, he almost got it. God is for those who don't have their lives together. God is for broken people. God is for people ejected from church and state. Start telling them that, and they'll show up your door. I'm going to need you to give us a little more law, please. What about those people are going to hell, aren't they? Because they're bad and I'm good. They're going to throw you in front of the synagogues. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that on the sim application? Can you imagine it? Come to seminary and be thrown out of your churches. Come to seminary and be flogged and beaten. St. Athanasius is one of my favorites. I don't know. St. Athanasius got kicked out of his parish at least twice, maybe 3 times. His congregation would become Arian and boot him. And then they would become Orthodox and call him back. And then boot him and call him back. I mean, you talk about bad voters meetings. That guy had bad voters meetings. Mine's a walk in the park compared to make a motion to dismiss Bishop Athanasius. Ejected. Targeting. Can you imagine that sim application though? So, come to seminary where you'll be thrown out of your parishes. People will want to flog you and kill you. People will cuss you out. And they'll think they're doing a service to God by doing it. Plenty of time. And you will be hated for my name's sake. You know, I'm Donald. It's my voters meetings are great. I'm just mocking. I think that Where there's a gospel preacher, there'll be persecution, was Dr. Walther, first president of the Missouri Synod. Thor is now underneath my desk picking up the treats that I dropped. Hi, buddy. Come over here. Everybody wants to say hello to you. Everybody wants to see you. Your fans, your adoring fans want to see you, buddy. Hop in there. Hop in there. Hop in there. Hop in there. Do it. Up. That's not a hop. That's a slow mosey. This is the thing that rolls people. The amount of hatred. And this has happened to all of us. They will hate you for my name's sake. The amount of hatred for pastors who preach the gospel, for you who believe the gospel. All right, there's an amount of disdain. Your pastor sees it. You'll see it in your life too. All you need to do is look at the news. That Thor's the radical. Rake, you are trouble. That's why we're friends. I want you to know this though. You will be caught off guard by it because it's come up with me confessing my sins to my pastor. My pastor, I would say, I don't understand why the hatred is so visceral. It's so icky. And he would point me to this verse. The world doesn't just dislike you. The world hates you. And I know when I say stuff like this that I feel like I'm going to put my aluminum hat on, that they're coming for you. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. And Sandra doesn't like this sort of talk, Sandra Madden. But this is where that comes from. But it's not. I'm gonna make Sandra's point for him. Don't think that because you're a punk, I was looking for a word that I could say, that people hate you because you're a punk and you're going to blame Christ for them. That you're unloving to your neighbor and so you're suffering for Christ. I mean, what we're talking about when I talk about persecution is not that, I'll use a guy in Louisiana. There's a guy in Louisiana who refused to close his church. In fact, encouraged his people to come, and in fact made laws that if they didn't come to church, they were somehow unbelievers. That guy's a punk, and the suffering that he gets is because he's a punk. But what I'm talking about is you go to your classes as a young person, or you go to your classes as an adult, and you believe that God created the heavens and the earth, and you're mocked for it. That's this. And they don't just mock you, they flat out hate you. And your pastor preaches nothing but Jesus Christ and him crucified, and they want to string him up. You don't preach the law enough. You preach too much about baptism. In my day, the sermons were 1/3 law, 1/3 gospel, and 1/3 youth. And we liked it. And all you want to do is preach Jesus Christ and him crucified. That's the suffering that I'm talking about, not you're a punk to others, and so they gather up to throw you out because you're a punk. We got to watch that because this all began with as wise as serpent, as gentle as doves. So there is a non-punkness that the Christians can do. Lutherans believe that the more punky that we are, the more sort of faithful we are. That's not Christian at all. That's deceitful. We need to stand on the word of God. We need to the gospel. Jesus Christ and him crucified. We need to stand on the gospel, not whatever we think is most important. And being a punk, Christianity is not a reason to be a punk. It's to preach Jesus Christ and him crucified. Have I made that clear? I want to make that distinction. Sometimes we suffer because we're offensive. And I'm not talking about the offensiveness of the gospel, which Pastor Rake made reference to earlier, which is you don't have to be a punk to be hated for the gospel's sake. The gospel is punkish enough. You don't need to add you being a punk to that on top of it. And so weep with those who weep, mourn with those who mourn, love your neighbor. And any mention of Jesus is going to get you enough hate. And you'll be caught off guard by the level of hate it is. But when that happens, take comfort because he told you in advance that it was going to happen. I want to finish this section before we're done. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Now that's interesting. What does he mean here? You will be hated for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns before the Son of Man comes. What does that mean? We're going to hold that and we're going to continue a little bit just to finish this section. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for a disciple to be like his teacher and the servant to be like his master. If they call the master of the house Beelzebub, and they called Jesus the prince of Lord of the Flies, that's Beelzebub. They called him a demon. How much more will they malign those of his household? For have no fear of them, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light, and what you hear whispered, preach in the rooftops. Do not fear the one who can kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Fear the one who can throw both soul and body into hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father? Even the hairs on your head are numbered. Therefore, fear not. You are worth more than many dead birds. What an absolute gospel-y good gift. I want to backtrack a little bit to when the Son of Man comes. You could take this as comes again on the third day. You could take this as comes in judgment. Comes in judgment. The judgment that is pending for Israel is the destruction of Jerusalem. That's the way the NIV the Concordia Study Bible takes it as. We'll talk about this front part of tomorrow. But I wanted you to get to this section right here, which is the greatest, funny of them all. Look, they're going to kill you. They're going to run you through. You're going to be run from town to town. You're going to be beat up and your lunch money stolen. What I tell you and whisper, proclaim it on the top of the rooftops. What I whisper to you, sing at the top of your lungs. Don't fear the guy that can throw you into hell. I'm sorry. Don't fear the guy who can kill the body. Soma, body. Fear the one who can throw both body and suke into hell. Suke, that little Greek word, means soul or spirit or body, the whole of you. Suke does not mean one of those parts. Our theologians divide people into body, soul, and spirit. Suke captures all of them. Whatever you translate the suke as here, you need to translate it as later on. My suggestion is you the whole of you. Everything about you. So don't fear the guy who can kill your body. Fear the guy who can throw all of you into hell. Look. Aren't 2 sparrows sold for a penny? So these birds are not worth, there's 2 for 1. 2 for a penny. And yet not one of them falls to the ground apart from their Father. Even the hairs on your head are numbered. You know what? Take comfort. When you suffer, when you are dragged through the streets, when the voters' meeting goes poorly, when you are mocked on behalf of Christ, when they look down on you because you believe God created the heavens and the earth, when you believe that sinners are forgiven on account of Christ alone, when they say that to you, don't worry. You're worth many dead birds. 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 It's hilarious. Don't miss this. It's funny. You are worth many dead birds. Look, the birds, 2 for 1, 1 penny, and not one of them falls to the earth apart from the Father. Don't you fret, guys on Vicarage. You're worth many dead birds, which is a great place to stop. Tomorrow we will take a quick look at this section because we sped through it at the end. But just take comfort. When you suffer, when it hurts, when the response is so bad that it hurts you, when you hurt so bad that it's personal, don't worry. You're worth many dead birds to God. Even though 2 sparrows are sold for a penny, don't fret, not one of them falls to the earth apart from the Father. You're worth many dead birds. You're all worth many dead birds. You're worth many dead birds. You know what you're worth? You're worth the death of the Son of God for you. That's what God sees you as worth. And if he sees you as worth the Son of God, then you're worth a lot. You're worth a lot. I'm Pastor Borghardt and the Sleeping Pooch. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Be safe out there.